Listen to part of a lecture in an art history class.
There was a lot of unique art in pre-Columbian American cultures. Just so you know, by pre-Columbian, we mean the time before Christopher Columbus arrived in the Americas. So let's say before 1500. In the area covered by modern-day Peru, there were two main groups of people who lived there before the Incas. They were the Paracas and the Nazca. The Paracas culture was older. It flourished in a small area of Peru from, around 1100 BC to 200 BC. The Nazca culture came later. It lasted from around 100 to 800 AD. By the way, we don't know their real names. The names of both cultures come from the geographical regions where remains of their civilizations have been found.
What is this part about? What is the topic going to be today? It's about the pre-Columbian American cultures, okay? There were two of these civilizations, which were the Paracas and the Nazca. These were before the Incas, okay? And the Paracas was older, and the Nazca came later. But these names are not real names. They just come from the geographical regions where they were found. So let's look at this part in detail. There was a lot of unique art in pre-Columbian American cultures. Hold on. What does unique mean? Unique means the only one of its kind, okay? Unique art. What is art? Art is painting, sculpture, or drawing, or other objects that are made for people to look at and admire and think deeply about. Pre-Columbian, what does that mean? Pre means before. Pre-Columbian means before Christopher Columbus discovered the Americas. Okay, pre-Columbian American cultures. What's a culture? Culture is art or the way of life of a certain society. Just so you know, by pre-Columbian we mean the time before Christopher Columbus arrived in the Americas. Just so you know, what does that mean? It means I'm saying this just for you to know. By pre-Columbian, we mean the time before Christopher Columbus. What does that mean? If you mean A by B, right? You're using the word B or the expression B to mean A. You get that? By pre-Columbian, we mean the time before Christopher Columbus arrived in the Americas. Who's this? Christopher Columbus. He was an Italian navigator and explorer who discovered the Americas, and he worked for Spain. Okay. He discovered the Americas in 1492. So let's say before 1500. In the area covered by modern-day Peru, there were two main groups of people who lived there before the Incas. In the area covered by, what does that mean, cover? Cover means to include that area. Covered by modern-day Peru. What does that mean, modern-day? Modern means relating to the present time, okay? There are two main groups of people. What does main mean? Main means the most important thing among the similar things in a situation. People who lived there before the Incas. Who are the Incas? Inca is the member of people. South American, Indian people, okay? And they are famous for having a complex civilization, and they lived, they had their civilization in the modern day Peru, okay? Um, they had customs to sacrifice people for their god, and they were easily conquered by the Spaniards. Spaniards means the Spanish, okay? Because they believed that a white god will come to them. So they believed that the Spanish were their white god and they didn't resist to their attack. So they were conquered very easily. North American Indians moved around, okay, to for hunting. You understand? But the South American Indians had civilization and they settled at a place, okay, a certain area. They were the Paracas and the Nazca. The Paracas culture was older. It flourished in a small area of Peru from around 1100 BC to 200 BC. It flourished. What does that mean, flourish? Flourish means to be powerful and successful. Okay? In a small area of Peru from around 1100 BC. What does BC mean? BC means before Christ, okay? The Nazca culture came later. It lasted from around 100 to 800 AD. It lasted. What does last mean? Last means to continue to exist. What is AD? AD is used to indicate how many years have passed since Jesus Christ was believed to have been born. By the way, we don't know their real names. By the way, what does that mean? By the way is an expression that you use when you want to talk about something that you have just thought of and it might or might not relate to what you have been saying. By the way, we don't know their real names. The names of both cultures come from the geographical regions where remains of their civilizations have been found. The names of both cultures come from the geographical regions. What does that mean, geographical? Geography is the way that features of land, such as mountains, rivers, or towns, or streets, are arranged within a certain area, okay? Region. What is a region? Region is a large area of land having a specific feature, okay? Where remains of their civilizations. What is remain? Remain is what is left after something has been destroyed. Of their civilizations. What is civilization? Civilization is a human society with its own social organization and culture. So let's move on to the next part.
Little is known about the Paracas, since only a few of their sites have been found. They lived in southern Peru, near the coast, in a very arid land. So the artifacts that have been found have been well preserved. The Paracas buried their dead in desert tombs and wrapped the corpses in heavy textiles, like blankets, in a style similar to Egyptian mummies. Many of these textiles are well preserved and are some of the finest extant Paracas artworks. They're woven and have colorful, elaborate patterns. They obviously took great skill and a lot of time to weave. You should have noticed the pictures of these textiles in your text while doing your reading last night. Also, archaeologists have found many pieces of Paracas pottery. Much of it has distinctive cat-like shapes. This shows the influence of the Chavin, a nearby civilization that worshipped cats. However, there are several differences in the style of pottery that each tribe made. That's how we know to differentiate between the two.
Okay, what is this part about? This part is about the Paracas civilization and their artifacts. They were built in a arid area, so the artifacts are well preserved. The first artifacts that the professor talks about is the textiles, okay? And they were woven and have colorful, elaborate patterns. And the other artifact that the professor is talking about is the pottery, okay? They had cat-like shapes and influenced by a nearby civilization called Shabin. Little is known about the Paracas since only a few of their sites have been found. Little is known about the Paracas since. What does that mean? Since means because. Because only a few of their sites have been found. What is a site? Site is a place where something happened. They lived in southern Peru near the coast in a very arid land. Near the coast. What is a coast? Coast is the area of land next to the sea. In a very arid land. What does arid mean? Arid means dry. So the artifacts that have been found have been well preserved. What is an artifact? Artifacts are ornaments or tools or other objects, especially the ones that have cultural or historical importance, okay? That have been found have been well preserved. What does that mean, preserve? Preserve means to keep something in a good condition. The Paracas buried their dead in desert tombs and wrapped the corpses in heavy textiles like blankets, in a style similar to Egyptian mummies. The Paracas buried their dead. What does bury mean? Bury means to dig a hole and put something in there and cover it up with earth. Buried their dead. Their dead means their dead people. In desert tombs. What is a desert? Desert is a large area of land which is very dry and there is nearly no water or rain or trees or plants, okay? Desert tombs. What's a tomb? Tomb is a large grave above the ground, and it often has sculptures or other decorations on it. And wrapped the corpses. What does wrap mean? Wrap means to cover something up tightly with paper or cloth so that it can be protected or it can give that as a present to someone, okay? Wrapped the corpses. What's a corpse? Corpse is dead human body. In heavy textiles. What's a textile? Textile is cloth or fabric, especially the ones that are woven, okay? Like blankets in a style similar to Egyptian mummies. What's a mummy? Mummy is the dead body of Egypt, which is processed with, which is rubbed with special oil and wrapped with cloth so that it can be preserved well, alright? Many of these textiles are well preserved and are some of the finest extant Paracas artworks. Some of the finest. What does fine mean? Fine means the quality of something is good. Finest extant. What does extant mean? It means it still exists, although it is very old. Paracas artworks. Artworks, what is this? Artwork is a painting or a sculpture of high quality, okay? Work of art.